Good afternoon, I'm Sean Yao, and this is One News Now. Let's start off with an update on the murder case of Negros Oriental Governor Roel Degamo. The military is turning over to the NBI today the 4 suspects who surrendered this week. Authorities did not give details on the time or location of the transfer of custody. According to Justice Secretary Boying Remulla, the suspects are all former soldiers who were directly involved in the killing of Degamo. Still at large are 3 other personalities being tagged in the crime. So far, authorities have filed over 30 complaints against the suspects who have turned themselves in. Negros Oriental Congressman Arnie Teves is questioning the timing of surrender of suspects in the Degamo assassination. In a lengthy video message on Facebook, Teves claims that the 4 new suspects have long been under custody. The lawmaker alleges that authorities only delayed the announcement long enough to complete their narrative.
May bago na naman daw nahuli or nag-surrender na witness. Sa napag-alaman ko, matagal na nilang hawak yung tao na yan. Kanina lang nila linilabas para makumpleto ang script. Mga bossing, unti-unti na nakikita ng netizens at ng taong bayan yung script. Huwag nyo naman sana gawing sine ang totoong buhay. Nagsasakripisyo kayo ng tao para sa palabas nyo. Huwag naman gano'n mga boss. Diba? Ano kaya kung kayo nasa lugar ko? Kayo ginawang sacrificial lamb.
Congressman Teves also addressed other issues in his video message. Teves apologized to his colleagues for his failure to show up at the House of Representatives. The lawmaker also called for due process, saying he knew all along that Degamo's killing will be pinned on him. Teves also discussed what could have been the motive behind these allegations against him. The congressman does not believe that President Bongbong Marcos had anything to do with his supposed persecution.
Ano ang nangyari dito sa Negros Oriental? Naglagay na kagad sila ng suspect, naglagay na kagad sila ng mastermind. Sabay, pinahabol yung ebidensya na tumama doon sa gusto nilang maging mastermind at suspect. Di ba mali? Hindi dapat ganun. Hinihingi ko lang naman fairness. Meron daw mga tao na gusto nilang masolo yung isabong, kaya kinakana nila ako. Matagal ko nang sinabi, wala na ako dyan. Sa totoo lang, hindi ako naniniwala na si President BBM mag-o-order na tirahin ako or i-operate ako para lang masolo ng ibang tao ang sabong. Hindi ganon si President BBM.
And speaking of President Bongbong Marcos, he had a message for Congressman Teves. Here's what the chief executive had to say.
The only advice I can give to Kong Arnie is that habang tumatagal ito, mas nagiging mahirap ang sitwasyon mo. So, mas maaga kang makauwi, mas marami pang option ang mangyayari. Pero pagka masyado ng late, wala na, mapipilitan ng gobyerno. We will have to move without any discussions with him. Mayaman ka naman, may private jet ka naman eh. Maglanding ka kung saan mo gusto, papaligir sa isang army, sa Air Force Base. O maglanding sa Sabasa. Papaligiran natin ng sundalo, wala makalapit ng 1 kilometro.
Time to pause for a quick break, but One News Now will be back with more stories after that. Stay with us. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. Authorities seized millions of pesos worth of loose firearms at a condominium unit in Makati City. The weapons cache is supposedly owned by a notorious Taiwanese syndicate that has been on the lam since 2006. Brian Castillo gives us the details.
Through a search warrant, PNP CIDG operatives raided a high-end condominium in Rockwell Center, Makati City Monday evening. Authorities seized more than 80 firearms, most of which are high-caliber guns and ammunition. The CIDG initially intended to do a search warrant against a Taiwanese national identified as Zhang Zhang Shadong, also known as Liu Mingchung. He is suspected to be a ringleader of a criminal group based in Taiwan. The suspect was not in the scene during the operation, but authorities were surprised with the number of illegal firearms believed to be worth millions of pesos.
Based on PNP records, he is not a registered owner of any firearms here in the Philippines. And besides, undocumented itong suspect natin, so mas marami pang ikakaso sa kanya. Ang ini-expect namin, talagang may mahuhuli kaming mga baril, but not this ganito karami.
Interior Secretary Benner Abalos presented on Tuesday afternoon the confiscated illegal firearms. Authorities are investigating the possible motives as to why the Taiwanese national has such a large number of high-caliber guns.
Well, maraming anggulo. It could be gun smuggling, it could be used for criminal activities.
Based doon sa mga nakonfiska naming baril, they could not accumulate this in a short period of time. So I presume they are here more than a year, less than a year. That's what I presume because hindi nila ma-accumulate lahat ito. Itong mga baril na ito ay nabili sa mga different mga tao dito sa Pilipinas, and we don't know if they will smuggle into Taiwan itong mga baril na ito. But yun po yung inimbestigan namin kung anong gagamitin ito, whether they will use for their syndicate or they will engage in a black market selling of these firearms back into their country.
Abalos said the operation is an offshoot of an earlier police operation on March 1 for the implementation of warrants of deportation and mission order against 3 Taiwanese nationals in Makati City.
Yung pagpunta nila dito, no, parang walang trace eh. Walang trace, di mo malaman. Yung pinaka-big boss ay involved sa kidnapping. Tumakas siya sa Taiwan noong 2006. No? Tapos yung nakita siya rito.
Based on the warrant of arrest, they were involved in narcotics offense back there in Taiwan and telecom fraud. Ang tagal na rin minomonitor ng PDEA na they are involved in a big-time drug syndicate.
The manhunt operation continues as police express their strong belief that the said Taiwanese national remains to be in the country.
We're sure of that dahil yung kundo na inupahan niya ay nagbayad na siya ng 3 months, so nagtatago pa lang. Pero we are very sure na nandito pa siya sa Pilipinas.
For News 5, Brian Castillo. We are One News.
Let's now take a look at today's global headlines. New York City is bracing for a possible indictment of former U.S. President Donald Trump. Protesters gathered outside a Manhattan courthouse condemning Trump over alleged hush money paid out to porn star Stormy Daniels in 2016. A grand jury, which heard testimonies on Monday, could bring charges as soon as this week, with Trump himself predicting that he will be arrested by Tuesday, U.S. time. On day 2 of his state visit to Moscow, Chinese President Xi Jinping met with Russian Prime Minister Mikhail Mishustin. Xi invited Mishustin to visit China and also called for regular meetings between the prime ministers of the two nations. China's state news agency also reported that Xi has also asked Russian President Vladimir Putin to attend the Third Belt and Road Forum for International Cooperation in Beijing. And TikTok has banned deepfakes, also known as synthetic media generated by artificial intelligence. Under TikTok's updated guidelines, deepfakes of private figures and young people are no longer allowed. This is on the back of Western nations banning the app over cybersecurity concerns. One News Now will be back at 3 p.m. I'm Sean Yao. We are One News.